Welcome, everybody. It's your wait. eh? Welcome, everybody. It's your boy MarkN MUFCFAN. My mic is muted. Why? I don't know. Welcome, everybody. It's your boy MarkN MUFCFAN. You know what it is, guys. Smash the like and subscribe. Walk one, people. Big up yourself. You know what time it is. And we're here, of course, to build up the match, the first game of the weekend, the start of everything. Of course, it's Brentford versus Manchester United, game week 6 of the 2025-26 Premier League, guys. I tell you, this one has everything in it. A bit of history, a bit of revenge, a bit of drama, and oh, yes, goals. Waiting to burst out like some double sauce in the building, you know what I mean? But, some Jamaicans mightn't be on that. But don't worry yourself, it's a training in the building. So let me get it on going, guys. You know what time it is. So let me see. We head in for the G-Tech Community Stadium, guys. You know what's going on. We are away. 12 o'clock midday. Kickoff in West London, home of Brentford. Brentford haven't exactly been firing all season. So what can I say, guys? It will be interesting to see if it will be a shaky result for Brentford or a big win for Man United, but still dangerously, especially in the front of their home crowd. You know what I mean? So for United, what I would say is there's a chance, a real chance to build momentum. Last weekend, we scraped a 2-1 win over Chelsea, down to 10 men. Well, we had a superiority in the first half, but then Casemiro red card. Should have been more, you know what I mean? We should have had 3 or 4 goals. The game should have been gone by halftime, but at the same time, we still on the build. So I guess it is what it is there. I can't really argue too much and what I mean, fight up and say, well, and stress too much. But I would say I expect to see better performance. And of course, I would like us to go forward with a victory. Because at the end of the day, guys, you know, it ain't looking too good. It ain't looking too good. We expect it to be a little bit better going forward. But there's a caveat. We never been in Brentford's den. We never been great there. So in fact, historically, United have only won 2 of their last 9 trips there. So it's one of them ones there. Another spicy situation going on. Brian and Boomer guys. And of course, if you all remember the transfer saga this summer, Brentford cheekily increased the price 10 to 15 million. Like they wasn't really trying to sell the man, they're trying to get every last cent out of Man United. So, Brian certainly has a bone to pick with Brentford. And I expecting him to come out of the blocks firing. And of course, he's been in very, very good form. He's one of the best players so far for Man United this season. He's been sharp in every single game he's performed. Of course, in 1 or 2 games, the first 3 games, he wasn't really fully match fit, but last 2 games, you've been seeing some of the best of this guy, and I think there's plenty more to come. So when we talking drama, we know play. Here's what we're looking for. The defensive frailties in Brentford this season have shown they conceded 10 goals already this season in some tight matches. United, well, we create chances, probably more shots than most side this season, as a lot of people would like to talk statistics, but what I mean, at the end of the day, shots don't win games, it's goals that is win games, and we're not firing and scoring goals as we should. So that's one thing I would hope that we could do better on going forward. The midfield battle and the absences, Casemiro suspended after the 2 yellow cards versus Chelsea. So United will have to have a reshuffle. No Amad Diallo, no Nusa Mazraoui, confirmed missing for this trip. That opens up spaces for others to have a step. Bruno Fernandes will pull more weight. Of course, Ugarte might get into the team. Not too sure if everybody going to be happy about Ugarte getting into the team right now. It will be an interesting one. Shout out to Chorus in the building. Shout out to my mans as well. Shout out to Stephanie Griffith. Big up to you too, Steph. Shout out to Vegeta in the building. Broski. What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope everyone is enjoying it. And of course, I'm going through a long monologue, but I also wanted to play a little bit of the street, the Manchester managers press conference and hear what you guys have to say. I watched it with my brother Vegeta earlier on, but I would like to have something to say. You know what I mean? Bro, I think Mbeumo go and score a hat trick, so you might want to add a little extra sauce on that bet you have going on because It will be interesting with both sides having issues at the back. I expect we could be expecting an open play game, guys. Open play with probably more than 3 goals in the game. And I expect more than 3 goals to come for United. Guys, as a positive one. And the last couple of days I couldn't be too positive, but I feel like we're on the verge of scoring some goals, and Brentford might just be that team because Mbumo have it going on for them. And Sesko looking for a goal. Bruno just scored his first goal. It has some interesting aspects to Man United right now. Of course, we're not playing the best football we could possibly be playing, but at the same time, we on the build, guys. You know what I mean? So with the certain narratives going on, Brentford want to spark their season so they will show that they're still dangerous. We want consistency as a matter of fact. But yeah, so it's one of them things. So can we show the flash that we are not just flashes of brilliance and that we are really the Red Devils rising from the ashes? Hopefully, with Mbemoni missed, there's definitely something to be had. Let's check out this manager's press conference. Let's hear what Ruben Amorim had to say, guys, because, well, yeah, it will get real interesting to see what this brother thinking about the everything as it going on, because really and truly, guys, I would like to know what his thoughts are, what he really means to say going on here. So let's check out this manager's press conference, guys. Of course, we'll be playing a little bit fast, but
Warren, what's the availability?
I think Leach is out. Casemiro is out because of the red card. Ahmad is not here. Someone in his family passed away, so we are giving all the support to Ahmad, and we understood that was important for him to have his time and to return home. The rest is fit and ready to play.
I was going to say, is Nusem Mazraoui?
He's not. Also, he's not going to be until we stop for the national team. So he's out also.
You obviously got.
That is pretty interesting, an update there, guys. We have to discuss this little update here. Nusa Mazraoui is injured. Guys, what we saying? After that big performance versus Chelsea, Nusa Mazraoui is out, injured. And of course, we know Lissandro is not going to be back until after this international break. So that's 2 players in defense that we have out going on. And now Ahmad is out. Well, he's not out for injury, but he has a situation in his family. Condolences to him and his family. He needs to go and deal with that. So we are going to be short on the right wing back as well. So it's like 3 players that critical to Man United right now are out. So what is the manager going to do? Let's hear. Because of course Mason Mount is fit, Cunha is fit. What is he going to do?
Very important win last weekend. How important is it now to finally get back-to-back Premier League wins? Is something the club haven't achieved for longer than
it's really important. I think that, and we talk about that in the end of the game. It's really important for us to have that sense of urgency that we need to win. No matter what, and it's going to be really difficult. Every time we start preparing the game and you watch the next opponent, you think it's going to be really, really tough. I have that feeling. But for me, we cannot control the result of the game. But for me, the most important thing is to start the game the way we start against Chelsea, the way we start against Burnley, the way we start against Arsenal. These kind of games, we need to be really focused and to have that feeling that we need to win every match.
I agree. I don't know about you. I think Campos says it here. Dogu and Dalot will be starting at right wing back and left wing back, especially. Maybe they might swap sides. Maybe that might be the master stroke. Dogu of the right, Dalot of the left. Because at the end of the day, I feel like Dalot more solid defensively, to be honest, guys. So they might be vexed with me for saying that. But I feel like Dalot more solid defensively. And then Dalot is putting crosses more consistently on both sides. I think Dalot better at crossing, so maybe we'll see. What I mean? If it was me, I might experiment with Diego Leone, and maybe I might bring in another youngster, and we could lose, but I would try players who I figure would probably do better in that position. I don't know why we put out Ethan Williams on loan. He's a definite right wing back, to be honest, and but let's hear what the manager has to say, because he has some good expectations of the team. Of course, the team did win last week, and we showed a bit of courage to keep it down when we went down to 10 men as well in the second half, and we did hold out the game. and we could have had 1 or 2 goals in the second half as well. So let's see. He might try. I would like to see that in the compost. I was telling them guys that on each other, but who knows what the manager will do?
It's a big game for Brian Burmo on his return to Brentford. In his short time here, how important has he become to your team?
It's really important for everything that he has been doing. The lights that he brings to the dressing room is not the guy that talks more, but you can feel it that he's always there to help us. He runs a lot, he presses a lot. He's a different threat compared to last season. He can take set pieces, and that is really important in this league. So I'm more than happy with Brian.
Has he surprised you at all? Some players struggle to deal with the demands of playing for this club, but not him, obviously.
That is also the good thing to have time to know the player when you want to bring players. Then you can see every week the player that it was really important for us to bring new players from our league, so you can understand what they are doing week by week against the opponents that they are going to face. So that can help us in. So the risk is completely different from other players, but in the end, you never know. So we were lucky with Brian.
Thanks, Ron. Hi, Ruben.
It's interesting what he said about Bryan Mbeumo, because I don't think he's wrong there. I think everyone would agree Bryan Mbeumo started the season in pretty good form. We know he wasn't match fit for the first couple of games, but even then he's still been by far one of the best players in the squad week in, week out. Like, I have to say, guys, But at the same time, let's see. Ruben Amorim is saying too many excuses. I can't disagree with you there, broski. To be honest, I think Ruben Amorim needs to speak with a little bit more confidence. For me, I grew up watching Man United managers all my life, and of course, starting with Fergie and ending with Ten Hag last season. I mean, the football wasn't great, but he did speak with some sort of confidence, and I think you need to start to breed some confidence into the squad. I mean, he trying because he's speaking it a little bit confidently, to be fair, but he could be a little bit more sure now. I understand. Campos saying Mbeumo always looks dangerous, just need to add a few goals now, 100%. I think we need to involve the striker, because if we was to involve the striker, I think it would make it even more open for the guys in the 10 to get goals as well, because if we start to get the teams defensively to focus on Benjamin Sesko, I think it opens up the game for Mbeumo, it opens up the game for Cunha, it opens up the game for Bruno, it opens up the game for Dorgu, it opens up the game for Ahmad when he's back. It gives us more options going forward in attack. I think it will be seen. Yeah, you would have to say that ETH really did some miracles with his squad, 2 trophies in 2 seasons. Bro, to be fair, have to say, but Amorim is the manager now.
Just on Brian, and
TTH
also
has been
bringing
sacked,
the likes
bro,
of
as much
Mateo, obviously
as
brought in Premier League proven players this summer. I mean, how important was that? And do you think that's a strategy you could see continuing going forward?
It depends, because you can see that every player that you want to buy in Premier League is really expensive, so you have to also to manage that. But if you look to our moment last year, you want to take the less risky move, and it was really important to have top players in our team. And I think if you look, Brian and Cunha is not just 1 year; they are doing this for years. So it was really important. Of course, was something that we look for players in Premier League.
And just on Ahmad, I mean, the club yourself, you've shown a bit of compassion to let him go home after family bereavement. I just wonder, does the footballing world maybe need to show that as well, maybe with fans? Because he received a lot of messages on social media after the Chelsea game, posting a picture with Alejandro.
I always say the same thing to my players: shut down social media, and that is nowadays is like that. Is a price you have to pay. But the important thing is that
No, guys, thinking about this situation here, you know what I mean? Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Sun. It's dry, 100%. It's good. As long as it's dry, it's dry, bro. It works. It works, broski. Just remember, it works. Yeah. What I would say to everyone is that it will get interesting, even more interesting now, more so, because guys, as we look at what happening with the team is starting to pick up a little run of form. This thing starting to go well for the team. You know what I mean? 100%. It will have the guys in the chat, Irfan, who think that maybe Amorim out. Some guys will be not sure. I am still a little bit unsure of what Amorim is doing, because the guy, I mean, You know, sometimes he talks like we're going to lose and then we lose, and then sometimes he talks like we're going to win. And I mean, I just feel like, yeah, I'm like rage baited, to be honest, and I don't understand from the dude what he trying to say sometimes. It's like he is like, you know, I mean, the team is not the greatest team, let's be honest, but at the same time, it's not the worst team. It's a team that went to 4 cup finals in the last 3 seasons, and we won two. So it's not like it's a team that can't get themselves up to win games. It's a team that can. It's just we need to find a way to get them going. And more so, we have new players. We have 10 players coming to the squad since the last, well, since the last went to the FA Cup final. We had 5 players coming that summer. And then this summer we had 5 players coming this summer. So, and we just signed a young generational defensive midfielder. I think this team needs time. You know, a lot of guys might not want to hear that. I mean, a lot of you guys, you know me. Last season, for the last 2 seasons, I've been telling you all we need to be a little bit patient. I am actually from Trinidad and Tobago, rage baited, but I live in Germany, so yeah, that's where I'm from right now. That's where the stream is coming from. You know, so it's one of those things. I don't follow his talk. And in hindsight comments he makes, I look at individual performances. 100%. I have to say that too. I think Mbumo would be one of the players who start to hit the ground running. You know, I'm not too sure about Cunha, to be honest, and you might slaughter me there. But shout out to North Africa in the building. That's of course Irfan. Of course, shout out to you, my brother. Where are you from? Rage baited. Rich Peter says, sending my love from Mars. Shout out to you on Mars, broski. You know, I always be telling people I be on Mars myself. You know what's going on. But what I would say, guys, is that, this team it have a lot of new players in the team. And while I might not be seeing much from Cunha, other people might be seeing lots from him. I not people not see, might not be seeing anything from Sesko, and I'm seeing a player on the verge of scoring goals. But at the same time, it is what it is. I think that we all need to be a little bit patient with Manchester United right now in this current moment. We have the time, and we really have the time to be patient this season. Now, I think Man United is going to start showing better performances. I obviously think we're going to get a win tomorrow. As long as we break that 2 game streak, duck tomorrow morning, guys, I think we're going to be in for a nice ride this season. Now it will have ups, it will have bumps, it will might have a down or two, but I think we will definitely find ourselves in a good form, and we will be up there on the table, thereabouts top 8, probably for the majority of the season, and maybe we might even rise even higher. But let's finish here what the manager had to say, because yeah, some players came into the team and they are performing. You know, Benjamin has not been one of those players, but we'll see how it goes.
The club and the friends. That is real life for Ahmad. We are here for him. It's a
And he's also talking about the social media aspect and the real life aspect. You know, Ahmad had a member of his family that, passed away. Eden Haven dealing with a member of his family that critically ill. And we have these things going on. This is real life, and social media guys understand, I'm a YouTuber doing this YouTube channel, but everybody we walk around in the real world each and every day when we have to go about our time buying groceries, stuff like that. And we also have to be mindful that things we do and things we say can affect people, and but at the same time, so while we here, we need to try and understand each other more than criticize each other. You know what I mean? Agree to disagree is always easier, because at the end of the day, we all Man United fans. So I can say for certain and sure with short certainty and surety that as a United fan, we all we come like a one big family, and not all families are unhappy because there are squabbles and there are disagreements. They're happy because they could agree and disagree and argue and still remain a family, because we all go and remain supporting United as long as we live. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's one of those things. Ahmad is greedy. Is very greedy. The final product is poor. Rage baited, I can't disagree with you, bro. You know what I mean? To be honest. But I definitely think with the talent that he have, there's a player in there. He just need to make better decisions. I think if he could make better decisions, we will see the player that we were seeing right before he signed that contract and before he got injured last season. I think that guy I would like to see back very soon when he comes back.
Tough moments, and in these kind of moments, is not important. The next game we can win without Ahmad, and we want to win also for Ahmad.
Ruben, Simon's mentioned this winning 2 games in a row, but obviously that is a kind of baby step in terms of improvement. If you want the improvement that you're seeking, you need to win games in a row. Do you feel confident about that? Because I think a lot of fans don't really trust the team to be able to play 2 games back to back well.
Yeah, that is the. I don't say playing well, because I think we did that this year. But to say it's normal, the fans, they don't know what is going to happen in the next game. And to be completely honest, I have an idea, but I don't know how it's going to be, and I'm the manager of the team. That has to be with the moment that we live for so many months. So I think the best way of dealing with that is that every game is the last one. It's just not thinking about 2 games. Oh, okay, it's not too many games for Manchester United. Yes, it's a big deal for Manchester United. So the next game is going to be the most important game for a long time in Manchester United. So I understand the feeling of the fans. So let's start changing that feeling and to present ourselves with that urgency that we need to do on the pitch.
This is Pod 5.
Guys, no, what I would say is, I mean, I don't disagree with Ruben. I think definitely there's some way, shape, or form we need to kind of find a way to change the narrative around Man United, around the club, around the atmosphere, as we would say, because it's not the best right now. And I mean, why you can't really criticize anyone for it not being the best, because realistically, Man United have not shown good performances. People are frustrated with the way we are playing. That's understand. Rage Baited says he feel Brentford will pack us. I disagree, Rage Baited. I think Man United will pack Brentford, but I mean, you could, you know what I mean? Too many projects, players, but I'm 100% confident that we're moving in the right direction, says Irfan. I mean, Irfan, I mean, I could say that we're moving in our right direction because the club did something I didn't expect them to do. They decided to back this manager, even though there were some moments this season where they could have an excuse to do what they did to Ten Hag. And maybe they will go through that that vision for the next 2 years, which is a hope, because it might not, in my opinion, he still has to prove to me that he is the right guy for this job and he could really take us where he thinks he can. And I am here for that. But I really want to see us actually build a project, because I thought we would have had Ten Hag for 3 seasons. So then, because I think 18 months is not enough time to judge a manager on his performance. I think a manager need at least 3 to 5 seasons to really build a team into the image that of the style of play that people wanted the manager to come to the club for. So while I will say that for Ten Hag, I must say the same thing for Ruben Amorim. Even though I find he does speak like a defeatist, I have to say and be fair to the guy, because realistically, he came here to do his best, and I think if he could actually get us winning some games, I think the atmosphere the players will buy in a little bit more. They will start to they'll start enjoying playing with each other, and it could go levels up exponentially at that point. You know what I mean? So now, guys, Man United tomorrow watch along will be there. I will be setting up that stream immediately after finishing this match preview. You guys, I hope you definitely will be joining me at 12 UK, so that we can all, build up the atmosphere. And, there's a new thing going on with the Man United group. So I'm going to try to work out something with the WhatsApp group, so that way on the halftime, there's a whole the phone and swipe up option in the group now on WhatsApp that you can talk freely and everyone could talk. So I'm going to try to see if I can incorporate that into the halftime match reaction of the game. Let's see how it works. We'll be trying to test that out tomorrow. And, if I complain so much, it's not trolling Ahmad, it's the manager. Now jumping to Ineos, you can't be a United supporter. If I give you my guaranteed, you're a rival fan. Well, I mean, I don't believe in Ineos, to be honest, Irfan. I don't think, that, they have sold me on their project. I think they're not 100% sure on what they're actually doing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think, everyone can find a little bit of criticisms in the way Amarim has done things, and it's not been the best decisions. But at the same time, of course, we did write off the season last season. So it's one of those things that I think, we have to let everyone have, express themselves, because it might have a little bit of this disjointed views. Like, I am not too concerned. I am in the middle right now, Irfan. I'm on the fence. You know what I mean? I'll be honest. I am on the fence. I being so real. I'm not sure if I want to support Amram. I'm not sure if I want to say, yeah, let's sack this guy. Because I hoping that we win tomorrow, because we haven't won a game back to back in the Premier League since this manager has come to the club. And that's a very big deal for me. This manager being unable to win 2 games in a row in over 30 games in the Premier League says a lot to me. So this is why but I'm a patient guy. I will keep saying that. 2-1 Man United, says Sean B. Interesting. Rage, where you going, broski? Where your match prediction, bro? I want to hear your match prediction. You said you think Brentford was going to pack us. I'm waiting for you to give us the prediction score so I can put it up on the screen, broski. There's no need for you to go. And of course, if you have a different opinion, it's fine. Everyone can have their opinions, because I am in the middle. So I agree with a lot of it to people, what people say, where they don't really know where we're headed. But then I could see, well, this guy is focused on something. So maybe you never know what could happen, because with him so focused, maybe he will achieve his goal. So it's one of those things where I kind of in the middle. I know Amarim had his fair share of mistakes, said Irfan, but what's wrong with us? There are no reasons why he couldn't win back to back. And it's circumstantial. I mean, but it's not really circumstantial. He had 30 attempts and he couldn't do it. He couldn't. So I would say I expected more from him, and I do expect him to perform better. And let's see what happens, because once he starts, I mean, you could come in here and tell me I was wrong, and I will put my hands up and say, Irfan, I was wrong. But at the same time, yeah, he has to do these things, bro. And I mean, this is sports. And as much as I want to like the guy, I love Man United, bro. And Man United need to win games. And to be honest, if anybody feel that this project is going to get off the ground, even in a great reset, without winning at least 10 to 20 games a season, it's mad. These brothers on the board not going to do this, bro. Like, they're setting you up for a great fall. I am, bro, Irfan, I'm a patient guy. But the board, we hear a lot of rumors about other managers. It was not fake. I just want to make sure and tell you that, Irfan. And this is why I don't trust Ineos, because these guys could just suddenly wake up today and lose. Fired. Bring a new manager. Reset again. This is what they're known for at Nice. They've done it 7 times in 2 seasons, bro. Yeah. They fired the first manager and hired a new manager. He lasted until about 3 months into the second season. And then it was like 5 managers before the season end. Just saying, bro. So it's an interesting one. But what will be interesting is your thoughts on this Brentford game tomorrow. Who do you think will be the key players for Man United and for Brentford? Of course, I think it's going to be very interesting to see the performances tomorrow. I do like the Brentford right wing back. He's a very interesting talent. You know what I mean? It was a player that I spoke about at length. I would have loved to see him come to Manchester United. He's on the thumbnail. And then there's a new striker that they brought in from Brentford, from Bournemouth, who's very, very physical, quick, and he's like a young bony face, to be honest. He looks like he's ready for the Prem. You know what I'm saying? A cricket player doesn't look at the score; he focuses on the game, and that's what Amaring is doing. This is football, Irfan. This ain't cricket, bro. And I've played lots of cricket, so I know exactly what you mean. You don't focus on the score, and to be fair, you could never really focus on the score because the scoreboard usually behind you when you're batting. So in one of those instances, you know what I mean, is focus on the runs that you're making right now. And of course, making fun of the pitchers and the fielders when they walk past you every chance you get. You can't get away from the banter. You know what I'm saying? But guys, let's check out the match information. Of course, the kickoff is tomorrow. The referee is Craig Pawson. His assistant is Lee Butts, Matt Wilkes, Ben Toner, Andy Madley, and Nicholas Hopton are the VAR assistants. It will be interesting to see what their decisions will be tomorrow. Of course, Man United sit on 11th place on the table. And of course, guys, what can I tell you? It gets very interesting with Manchester United in that position because while we are in 11th place, we are 1 point off fifth because Chelsea is on 8th and we are 2 points off fourth. So it's an interesting situation where if we win and other results in the game in the weekend, favors Man United somewhat, we could end this week somewhere near fifth, maybe even sixth, depending on the results, because there's a lot of games to be played, guys. And of course, the scores are tight. Of course, Liverpool is 5 points clear and 8 points clear of us on 15. So it's not one of those things where I'm going to tell you guys we're going to be up there in the top 4. Nah, but I think we can go into this international break somewhere 5th or 6th based on results and who faces who, because of course the other teams play each other. And I can show you a better example of that by showing you the fixtures on the screen right here. Let me just make this really big so you guys can see it better. Hold on 1 second. Yo, Bali,
Yo,
what going on?
nothing much, man. I'm just here, bro.
Chilling. So, Man United, like I told you guys, we kicking off the Premier League weekend in the opening game of the weekend. Of course, it's going to be a banger because United should be getting themselves a win in this game. This is just my honest opinion. Of course, Chelsea faces Brighton, which is always a difficult game for Chelsea. If Brighton and Chelsea were to draw, Chelsea would be on 10 points. And if Man United scores more than 3 goals, then we probably have a shout for being a place above Chelsea. It could be interesting. Crystal Palace faces Liverpool, and I have a very, very interesting prediction that Liverpool is going to receive their first loss of the season tomorrow. Crystal Palace to win 3-2 is my prediction. Guys, if you were to bet your money, I'm pretty sure you would win some money because I think Crystal Palace has their number. I think Glasner has slot like he's in Vegas and he's pulling on that machine and he's winning his prizes. Leeds, of course, faces Bournemouth, which is another important game for us to pay attention to because Bournemouth is above us on the table. And of course, Leeds is showing a rise in form. And like I told everyone about Leeds, who is now part of the Red Bull group, they have some interesting talent that came from across Europe, like Noah Okafor, and he is a very prolific scorer. And it will be interesting to see if they were to get themselves off to the races tomorrow because they might put Bournemouth to the sword. Manchester City faces Burnley. That result, whether they win or lose, yeah, United should still find themselves ahead of Man City with a victory. It possibly could be that Burnley will keep Man City to a draw, but Man City is at home, so it will be very interesting to see what happens there. Wait, what? What happened there? Yeah. Why the layout just changed? Yeah, that's really wild. Where did this share go? Hold on, bro. Oh, bummer. Yeah, so it will be real interesting this weekend, guys, because like I telling everybody, it have some possibilities where Man United could possibly find themselves in a healthy position in the league purely based on results as long as we do our job. And our job tomorrow is to beat Brentford by at least 3 or 4 goals. And if we can do that, guys, we will find ourselves in a healthy position in the team, in the league. Like, look at this game. Nottingham Forest coming off of a draw with Real Betis faces Sunderland, who everybody has been talking about their good performances this summer, and of course their good signings, and they are no slouches. It's very possible Nottingham Forest have been on the slide downward since their new manager has come in. Ange Postecoglou, his high line seemingly not working out too well with Nottingham Forest just yet. So they are very susceptible at the back, and that would also leave room for Man United. Wolverhampton Wanderers might be that struggling team, but what I can tell you about Wolverhampton Wanderers is that they certainly have Tottenham Hotspur's number. They have been a bogey team for Tottenham Hotspurs for the last couple of seasons. They usually tend to win a game, be it home or away, every season against the Spurs. They are without Matthias Cunha, but they have a fit Hwang Hee-chan. And I think it will be very interesting to see what happens in that game after Tottenham Hotspurs coming off of Champions League after, midweek play. So it will be much to see. Bali, what are your thoughts on the Manchester United game this weekend, my brother? Of course, we will be missing some players. We will be missing the likes of Amad Diallo, who is, in bereavement. We'll be missing the likes of Mazarawi, who's out injured for the next couple of weeks. There's also, Sandro Martinez not fit yet to play. And, well, yeah, red card for Casemiro. It will get interesting. But, of course, Matthias de Ligt is there.
Is he fit?
He is fit, of course. He is in the team.
All right, well, that's all good in the hood. Obviously, Brentford in the past have been difficult oppositions for us, should I say, especially away from home. I expect Manchester United to rock up there, apply pressure to them. They play a back five system, so I mean, we should know how to penetrate that back five system maybe a bit more easier than other teams, because I wouldn't say they're always training to penetrate a back five system, whereas we probably mirror the system and play against each other quite often. So they should know how to tear apart those three central centre backs at the back there. Fingers crossed we can get Sesko into scoring positions this week. I don't mind who scores the goals, but I want to see a return on investment for all the money that we paid for Sesko. Mbumo coming back to his old stomping ground. Hopefully he can get on the score sheet as well and put his old club to the sword. Because I know when we tried to sign him, they were haggling too much and they left him in limbo. So maybe that's a little cheeky professional payback, even though he probably does love Brentford as a club. They gave him his big time start in the Prem, and I think he got promoted with them as well. So, he's very grateful, but, he's got to do what he's got to do. But at the end of the day, all roads lead to the dugout. I'm looking at the manager, and I am somebody who's backing the manager, but we need back-to-back victories real bad.
Real bad.
Losing this game is unacceptable. drawing this game is unacceptable to a certain extent. He needs to get a win away because our away form stinks. It's not the greatest. So there's many things that need to be improved. But
Him a good
winning back
Labo.
to
Him
back
a
will
good.
go a long way
By
to
there.
getting back in my good books.
Yeah, I hear that, broski. I feel the same way, bro. I think Amarim need to get the second win, not just for himself, but for the fans, for the team. We get Slabo. Ja, ich hoffe, du hast einen tollen Tag, Bro. Was geht's? But you know, I mean, at the same time, bro, interesting looking at these how the Zoom worked here. You know, I seen at least two or three of our three of our starting defenders and the team starting defenders as well as midfielders, because I think Gallo will be starting Delit and Maguire. It's not the best, but I think that's what he going to do. I actually wouldn't mind seeing they bring back Malacia for one game, to be honest, because I think playing Malacia that left center back, playing maybe the lid there might be a better situation, and playing Dorgu, I think Dorgu and Malacia might link up well. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It might be interesting, but that brother Michael Coyote there is the brother that, to me, I feel like it will be very, very tough. You know, he is that interesting player that I was trying to get us to, I was talking about we should be signing for the longest while, but we didn't get to sign him. And then, you know, Bali, it is what it is there, you know, because Broski, you know, when they miss out on a top talent, yeah, it's be difficult for you to you know rise. And these brothers just go to these clubs and rise, and then we had to buy them from these clubs for 80 million when they was we could have get them for 16 million. He was 16 million euros, Bruski. And
But
I
then
wanted that he
to me, this is why also, to a certain extent, if we got a manager and the manager has potential, we gotta invest in that potential. And then once the manager's been here for a certain amount of time, then we can more focus on bringing in youngsters from the academy, because we've got a lot of good talent down there, and we can utilize our talent ID to bring up the best guys who are going to improve the team. For now, we got to spend money because we're revamping the whole squad,
I
and I don't
disagree,
think
but
at this point we can't bring some of the youngsters into a super unstable environment with a team taking licks week in, week out, can't win back to back
look,
and all that.
I think that's based on the manager fault. I don't think that's anybody else's fault but the manager.
Yeah,
That we can't win week in,
that
week out.
is,
And I
but
think,
we're in a rebuild still. So
yeah,
regardless
we're in a
of whether it's the
rebuild, and I
manager's
think in
fault
a
or not,
rebuild you have
we're
to
still
use
rebuilding this
academy.
team.
And
We're
you gotta
still.
use the
I'm not
academy
saying don't
because
bring them in, but I'm saying don't put them in a situation where you have to rely on them. Not to say don't play youngsters.
I
That's
mean, yeah,
never.
well, that's what I'm saying. You play them as a substitute, but this is where I say this is where when I feel like you gotta make that distinction. I feel like they could come as substitutes into the team as backup options that could come into the game for 20, 30 minutes, probably depending on the situation, depending on the player. You know, I think that's always something that should be an option because especially in a rebuild, you can't always spend money on loan. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we have our academy there and we have talents, and some of these brothers win a treble. Yeah, some of these brothers winning back-to-back titles. So you can't say we don't have talent. And in honest opinion, bro, I feel like why go and buy a 19-year-old somewhere who definitely probably not going to be worlds better than what we have in the academy for free. So
I mean,
that's one thing I look at.
I don't disagree. We're saying the same thing, so I don't really disagree with that either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some
This
point
is
you have to
this is
spend
why I
money. The
had issues.
football is an expensive business, bro. There's not a manufacturing business. This is not there's not they're not a normal business where you could just spend little and make big profits. This is a business where if you want to win trophies, you have to spend big money. This is the business. The already day. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
you know, what I mean, Brentford did go out there and sign an interesting striker called Dango Utwara, who was coming from Bournemouth. An interesting talent, bro. He look easy, gave my vibes like that fella, but he have a better name. Victor Boniface. And this
Mm.
young fella, Gustavo Nunez, bro, he like a João Pedro, you know, but a little bit more direct, but it's real similar still, but more direct. They do have Reece Nelson, who they buy from Arsenal. And of course, they have this guy, Igor Thiago, who they buy from, I think, Flamengo. So they have they have some interesting additions into the team. Of course, we will be without Ahmad, so it will be the options will be Matthias Cunha, Joshua Zirkzee, Brian Mpumo, and Benjamin Sesko. You know, I think our attacking lineup, even without Ahmad, still better than theirs. So we should be winning this game. And even if you look at the midfield, I would say that our midfield and their midfield is not too far apart. They might have a little bit more legs than our midfield, but I think our midfield are more quality. So again, this is why I would say this team is supposed to be winning this game tomorrow.
I mean, I don't think I'll be offering any excuses for them. I think we've got the personnel. I think we've got the talent. And I think the guys should just push for the win. Take care of the defense, because obviously I look at the goal difference and I believe it's still in minus. So we need to sort that out. Hopefully we'll be able to address that this season, win back to back, and then win our other game after that. And then I can say, okay, cool. We're on a beautiful run, which could only potentially be derailed by Liverpool. But if we can just win all of those games, then I'll just put it to the fan base, like, over to you. Like, okay, cool. You didn't like the way we started. Some people, not everyone, but some people. Some people didn't give some players chances. All right, fair enough. It's only normal. If you don't see the type of results that you want, then it's only natural that you criticize either the team or the manager. However, if they put these wins together and they put this run together, then maybe some people have to just say, I've seen something worth backing, and back the manager, and let's try and get to the other side of this rebuild, because I think that's what we've been struggling with.
Waiting for
We get managers in, we spend like 200-300 mil, sack them 10 games in, and then start all over again, rip it all up, start all over again. And I think if we want to move away from where we are, because if you judge the manager based off of when he came in and what he done, you understand he had a bomb squad before he even came in. He came in, he produced a bomb squad. So we had a depleted attack because these guys had all become bomb squad players. And then he started to teach them a different system. So then as a consequence, the club obviously told him that the season's a write-off 10 games in, and he acted as so. So if you lot want another manager coming in after 10 games, hearing that the season's a write-off again, and that manager decides to finish in 15th, and then they still are allowing him to be the manager the following season, and then they spend another 200-300 mil, and they play a different style of play and everything else, we're just doing the same shit over and over again.
fed up of
And
that
that's
shit,
my
bro.
issue.
This is why I was so hell bent on not sacking Ten Hag last season, yeah. Because that would just feed right back into that 18-month cycle. I'd have bear with whoever was to come just to end last season and cut that 2-year curse. You feel me? But they bring
Mm.
in Amorim. He didn't want to come. And this why I keep telling man them, bro. And because realistically, there are people who cannot get over what they had to deal with last season under this manager, and whether or not we discussed this before they even bring the guy, and people laugh at we Bali. We say to them, we're going to write off the season if we sign this manager. If we sack Ten Hag, we're writing off the season. Okay, cool. This man don't play the same style. We don't have the players for the style. It's going to be a whole mad scene. We're going to be fighting for 10th. And men them laugh at we. Some men was telling me in the chat, going and finish top 4, all kind of madman thing. Now, while it's interesting and exciting for the higher ups to be talking all these fancy talks about these young talents and building 100 million players, brother, Irfan, I'm being honest with you, Manchester United, we ain't broke, brother. We never needed to sell players for 100 million or have players who valued at 100 million. We never needed that shit. Not 1 year, not
Record
2 year,
profits.
not 3 year, record profit. Listen, bro, our profits is double a year what Arsenal is make. Double a year what Chelsea does make. And they does sell well. Sell well, King. Nobody in
This
the
is
league
without
is sell
winning
better than
trophies or
Chelsea.
anything.
So imagine if we win a trophy, King, we go be making something like 900 to 1.6 billion in that 1 year we win a trophy. And that's just so far. Bro, we should sales is like 100 million, in profit something a year, bro. Like people, like I just tell man them what the club decide they're going to spend and why they're saying they ain't have no money is not the actual facts. The club come in, the new regime came in and they had to set the club. They wanted to set a standard of value, right? And what they're willing to spend and what they're willing to do. Not only because they're trying to maintain a certain finance balance, but they also have to get a profit because they're running the club so that they get paid. And that's the reality. They won't talk about it, but they cut in a profit and they must cut the profit for the Glazers, let me be honest. Yeah, because they're the owners. And it's not to say they can't afford to spend 600 million last summer. It's not to say that they couldn't afford to buy Belieber because we offered what they wanted. People will say that all kind of fake stories and fabrication that Brentford want 150 million for Belieber. Bullshit. Brentford wanted 65 million pounds up front, but they wanted a total package of 100. Man United offered them 78 million plus 22. I'm telling all of this because all kind of people coming out saying all kind of weird things. Amarim was live today. Yeah. There's no way that guy did not get the players he explicitly wanted from the choices that he was given. And yet people will come out here to say that, well, Wilcox kept Bruno. Wilcox wanted this player. Amarim wanted Watkins. No, he did not. But again, we are not in the manager's brain. And like I tell everybody, we have to be patient for the manager to do his thing. He has his vision. He get players that he wanted. He have to make do with players in some positions that he didn't get players for. But I believe that, some way, shape, or form, if once this plan works, it will show us what we want to see. It will show us a reason to back him or not to back him. So give him the chance. And realistically, let him run till the end of the season because these players who we just buy, they will not pick up for most of them real red hot scintillating form until maybe Christmas. And then it would be a waste of time because then they would have bought this guy, 5 players just like Ten Hag, and then sack him before they hit form. It's mad. Sports don't work that way. But anyway, guys, shout out to Football Power in the building. Blind Faith in the building here. But at the same time, he talking about not Brentford. Brentford go and get slapped tomorrow, King. I telling you now, yeah? Bro, listen, yeah? Forget being stuck in SAF. This is professional football in the Premier League. And I want to explain you something. Chelsea did it 4 years ago. They spent $2.1 billion on a squad of young, amazing talent. And they got battered for 1.5 seasons because that squad of amazing talent had 0 experience. And as much as they are talented to come into the best league in world football as a youth, with no experience of the league and the atmosphere, the grounds, and all these things, it could be a problem situation. So while they say 2028, I think there was really saying that because the thought Ten Hag would have a good start to the season, but then after that, yeah, I think that out the window. I think it's more like 2030 now. That's just my honest opinion to you guys. So all you guys that thinking 2028, I think it's safer to bet on 2020 and 2030 because yeah, 2030 unless something exponential happen in the course of the season, which is possible. 2030 is more likely bet because realistically, some of these young
What, to
talents
challenge or to win a title, you mean?
to probably win a title. We think we'll be challenging next season or something. If this manager stay this season, we'll challenge next season because he would stay because we had finished top 6 or top 7.
I mean, I'm happy to wait till 2028 to challenge, because
I not
again, like
stressed.
we bought 3 outfield players.
We had to buy 3 more at least. At least, at the very least, we had to get 3 more
Even
outfield
then, I
players.
still think, personally, as I assess the team, because I would say I'm one of the few that have probably done extensive research into the manager, his background, what type of football he likes to play, his actual style of play. Because I've even seen other content creators, question what the manager's actually trying to do. And because I understand what the manager's trying to do, I mean, I think we need another 2 summers,
No,
personally.
you see, I understand what
To
the
to
manager
get to
trying
get
to
the
do,
final
but
form of the team, I think we
to
need 2
get
summers.
yeah, but I don't think he had 2 summers time. So he needs to be realistic, and all what he want to do need to be realistic because let me be real. This is you can't listen, yeah,
We
and
spoke about challenging, right? We spoke
yeah, we
about
spoke about
challenging, right?
challenging. Yeah, well,
That's
challenging, but
what
it
I'm
don't need.
thinking.
I'm
Another
not
2
talking about
summers.
winning. I thinking we should be challenged with another summer because
But
understand
you
what I'm saying
can't
to
run
you.
before you can
No,
walk. We
no,
finish
no,
in
but
15th.
understand, look, hear me out. Forget that. You see that finishing 15, that was circumstantial. Forget that. Because that had nothing to do with he nor the team really. It's a combination of the whole shit situation. So let you put that out the window. This team that start the season here, at least top 12, top 10. Yeah, at least top 10, just before the season kickoff, at least. Based on quality, based on his brilliance that everybody talked about, and based on the players that come into this team. Yeah. So I would say to you, from that starting point, we at least should finish top 7 this season. At least, at the very least, 7th we should be at the very least. Yeah, there's no excuses for anything lower than that, none. And what I would say is that I think next summer, if we get 3, we probably will get 6 players or maybe 7. So this is why I say into you, next summer we could probably challenge because he will get at least 6 or 7 players the next summer if he finishes with Europe for next season. If we have Europe next season, they will spend money and they will spend twice what they spent last summer. Trust what I'm telling you. Yeah. Now I will not go so far as to say that Chelsea had no strategy, broski, because we could see where Chelsea is in the last 18 months from the same players where they bought. Yeah. Who are the backbone of the team at this current point? So what I will say to you is, Irfan, it's okay. It's cool. I get excited when United try players, especially when they come from my region of the world, South America, because this young talent that come in here, I could tell everybody about this guy because I see him. Trinidad and Tobago is play against these guys regularly. We play against Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Chile very regularly. Yeah, it's like we have a Pan American, or linkage with them with their countries, and we just play a lot with them. So I could tell you, bro, it's like it's one of those things where let we not overhype it because just remember, bro, Amarim is a very talented manager, but he's very young. He's not been coaching more than 6 or 7 years in the game right now, and this is Manchester United, bro. Yeah, he's not the experience amazing guy. He has to gain some. And the Prem will teach him quickly. You understand? The Prem is the best league in the world, bro. This in Portugal. So while, yeah, we know he have a plan from how Sporting used to play, guaranteed at some way, shape, or form, that plan need to have some kind of slight tweak, maybe on a physicality sense, an athletic sense, you know, because of the demands of the Premier League being vastly greater than that of the Portuguese league. So I hear for it, bro. What the guy decides to do and does, let me see. You know what I mean? I expect him to give us many reasons on why we should support this team. Hopefully not why we should sack him, because I don't know about you guys, but I real tired of this 18-month cycle of debt. You know what I mean? When my MacBook starts spinning with that colorful ball, I just take it to Apple and get a new one. I don't waste time because I can't deal with that shit. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. I like to move forward and harping on things right now. Yeah, we was a dynasty. We could build it back bigger and better than ever before. And sometimes we had to be a little bit patient because it doesn't always start well. But you see, if you could finish well, trust me, you win. Because Alex Ferguson probably never started a Premier League well, but he finished 13 very well. Yeah, very well finished because he lifted the trophies. So, what I would say to you guys is, sometimes you see a lot of people like to hype and talk about the first 10 games of a season and thing. We need to go back to the Man United fan base that used to think about the first 10 games as a warm up. A warm up to the massacre that go and come afterwards. Yeah. How we would massacre teams afterwards. Because I used to do under Fergie. When we were at our best, we used to win maybe 2 or 3 and draw maybe 2 or 3 in the first 10 games every season. Every season, guys. Go and look it up. So this ideology about starting well, it never happened when United win. And I don't know about you guys, but what I do know is that if we follow our own recipe, we will win. We will win trophies because it's our recipe. You understand? It come from home, and that's all I had to say to you all tonight. We'll be back for the watch along tomorrow. Shout out to my brother Bali Tech in the building coming through. Shout out to each and every one of you watching. Danny B, Irfan. Stats prove that Amarim has already changed a lot, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. The biggest stat that against Amarim is we're in a minus goal difference, bro. That's the biggest stat against Amarim. We're not scoring goals, which is basically the same thing we sacked 10 out for. Let me just be real. So while I hear faith and I see in the stats on the directness, we still not creating chances. We don't look like we'll be scoring team goals, but hopefully that will change. Hopefully that will change. So like I said, players need time to bed in. I say the best approach is to let the manager have the first 10 games of the season and back them into Christmas, because I think January is where it's at for us. I think that is where we will enjoy Man United, guys. If you have the patience for that, stick with me, because I think that's where you will really understand why we never really start well, because we just finish well. And anybody who's finished well usually wins, because it's not a race, it's a marathon. And anytime you're in a marathon, you need to finish well. Starting is relative. Understand what I'm saying to you guys? Irfan, trust. I know what you're saying, bro, but yeah, the stats, bro. It is what it is, broski. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Bruno playing in the midfield is a sackable offense, bro. Yeah. As much as I not go and cry and scream for the manager head. Like we all know, playing the best number 10 in the Premier League currently should not be playing in the 8. But it is what it is. If it works out this season for the manager, he will be a genius. And I will apologize and hold my hands up and say, you were the boss. And I was wrong. But until then, I will talk my mind, bro. And everybody else are allowed to talk. There's you, of course, speak freely. I will put them up on the stream, on the screen as much as I can. And everybody else, if you disagree, agree, or what have you, say your mind, speak it freely here. You have your voice. Shout out to Bali, shout out to Fan, shout out to Danny B, shout out to, of course, the Rage Beat as well. Shout out to the Football Power Hour as well. Guys, have a great night. I'll catch you guys later. You know what it is.